Okay, Scott, I have to apologize. My camera was off when I thought it was on when we were taking you out of the box, but here we are, out of the box and ready to have a look. Here's your watch. It's a great little version of this this post ISO standard modification on the Seiko divers. So let's go ahead and have a look at what you've sent. I'm going to take your NATO off here. Take a close look at where we are. Okay, so let's zoom down just a little bit more here. All right, so we have a Seiko 7002 7039, and this is from 94, which is the transitional version of this watch. So they transitioned at the ISO standard from a Japanese made movement to a movement that was made in Singapore. And these were cased in Hong Kong, which is right on your dial. So it should say movement Singapore, cased Hong Kong, right? So the 7002s that were just before this were a bidirectional bezel. This is a unidirectional. But it's cool because it's got the blue and the red on the bezel, but it's got a black dial. And so some of the later versions of the Seiko divers that were the Pepsi designation had a blue dial. So this is what in the world of Seiko divers is called the 7002 Transitional. Anyway, it's a great watch. These are fun. The movements are bulletproof in these. These are just such good little runners. All metal movements, really nice. So let's just go over the condition of the watch here. Overall, everything looks really good. It's a worn watch, so you know you've had this on your wrist, and it's got its its wear marks here and there. You had mentioned that the bezel didn't turn. I got it to turn as soon as I took it out of the box and wasn't recording, but it only went to here. But that's just there's a gasket under here and probably lots of arm goodies, some dirt and material that stops these from turning. And it's one directional, so I can't really go back. So once we pop that off, it should be just fine. Shouldn't be an issue. And if there is an issue, I have replacement metal. There's like a metal spring or spring-loaded object that goes underneath the bezel. And if it's got a problem, I have ones to replace it. Let's go ahead and just check function here. So everything that turns over just fine. All right, good alignment on your chapter ring. Your crown screws down and let's make sure, yep, as it should. That's good. All right, let's go ahead and take the case back off. There we go. Okay, good. All right, so there it is. All right, let's see. Oh, you have some marks in the back. All right, that's interesting. So this says, if I'm reading the date as a date, it's 3/5/96. So that means that somebody was in this watch just under 2 years after it was made. So it was made, March of '94, or I'm sorry, May of '94, and somebody was in here in perhaps March of '96. Interesting. It's curious. Well, I wonder what they were doing. Anyway, overall, it's a little dirty in here, but that's okay. It's hazy. It looks like it's been perhaps a little bit wet, but not rusty wet. Just a little bit of perhaps atmospheric style moisture. The seal here is really compressed, so although it's probably doing its job, it's certainly not up to standard. So seals of course are the thing to replace in the divers. Overall though, looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get you wound up. You had mentioned that you weren't having a full power reserve, and I'm not really sure. That could mean a couple different things. Either these mainsprings don't break necessarily, but they can slip in the barrel if there's excessive wear. Let's just check your... It looks pretty solid. These don't really suffer from the mainspring arbor port issues that the 6000s do. Okay, well, it looks like it's chugging along pretty well. I want to look under your cap jewel and see if you have any lubrication under there. Give me one moment here, sorry. I mean, it's got something under there. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to know exactly what's here. But once we get on the time grapher, we can have a quick look and look at the performance and see how it's running. And we'll be back. Just give me a sec. Okay, well, this is interesting. You know, even if you are having a power reserve issue with this much wind in the mainspring, I'm able to get to, you know, really good amplitude. I mean, this is sort of serviced amplitude that we're talking about. Now, normally I would say to somebody whose watch is in this condition, you know, let's forego, if there is definitely been some past service history, we could probably forego service. But if you're having an issue with it keeping enough power reserve to keep it running, you know, I'm a little bit nervous about eventualities, and that is the eventuality of when things, if you do start wearing the watch more, or if it's something that you wear currently, you could be doing damage without lubrication. So, you know, you could go without service. These are great numbers. I mean, it looks really good. It needs to be, you know, adjusted. It's out of adjustment. The rate we can change and the beat error we can change. But the amplitude is really the number that I look at and I'm concerned with. But, you know, this is, you know, within 10 to 20% of where it should be after service. And it may still be at 250 at the time of service. You know, these things, you know, plus or minus a few percent here and there, but approaching 260, that's not bad. That's actually really good. So it's a great runner. We will do very well to keep this running at this point, and after service it should hopefully even be better. So I'm gonna leave this up to you. I mean, you have mentioned that you want things to work better, and that means the watch has to come apart. But it's certainly in a good state at this time. Okay, well, yeah, we'll come back to the bench. Okay, Scott. Well, a very nice little watch, and a pretty unique one too. You don't see very many 7002 7039s floating around anymore, especially ones that are this nice. I'm gonna let you tell me what you want. You know, the watch could always benefit from a good clean and a good service. That's always the case. If you want to save that process for a little later down the road, I'm okay with that too. So I'm here to help you. So I'm going to send you this video. You can make your choice of what you'd like to do. Either have me go full in, or stick it back in a box and send it back. I'm happy to do either. Okay? All right. Well, I will be in touch, and thanks for watching.